So in my last video, I was criticizing the conscription system in Switzerland. I know a lot of the comments under that video are just absolutely ridiculous. People saying conscription is not that bad or that everybody should serve. Well, today we're gonna look at some of the dumbest arguments I found in the comments and break them down one by one. I was wondering how you know so much about the Swiss military being from Czechia, because you claim to know what Swiss commanders do with their soldiers and claim that all the Swiss soldiers hate it so much. Clearly they don't mind that much, considering the 75% general public of Switzerland voted to keep mandatory service. Okay man, claiming that I cannot understand Swiss conscription just because I'm from Czechia is a lazy argument. By that logic, no one could criticize foreign injustices, which is obviously absurd. I have researched this issue and heard first-hand accounts from conscripts themselves. The fact that 75% of Swiss voters decided to keep conscription doesn't prove that soldiers actually like it. It only proves that comfortable majority decided to impose forced labor on minority. When you look at the history, it is full of oppressive systems upheld by public votes. And obviously that doesn't make them right. Forcing young men into military service against their will is a human rights violation, no matter how many people vote for it. This video is so stupid. Bro acts like Ukraine doesn't exist. Oh, please. Ukraine is over 1,500 kilometers away from Switzerland. Before Russia could even dream of reaching Swiss borders, it would have to control the whole territory of Ukraine. After that, they would have to invade multiple NATO countries, triggering Article 5 and essentially starting World War III. That's beyond unrealistic. Using Ukraine as an excuse for forced military service in neutral Switzerland is pure fear-mongering. It's just clinging to an outdated system because some people refuse to move on from the past. There's a similar comment to the previous one, calling me a lefty. Come on, man. I literally have the same response as the previous one. Switzerland has no genuine danger, so this comment is utterly stupid. My British pal, if you're watching this video, get some education, dude. Paul Geography is not even from Switzerland, and they have made their army structured around militia and compulsory service since medieval times. What can I say, my boy? Apparently they're still stuck in the medieval times to this day. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Bro, like, do you even notice how ridiculous that sounds, bro? All I hear is individualism and focus on the individual, not a focus on everyone. Stop being self-centered. Military service builds character, and if anything should instill morality and patriotism in the country at large. It's beneficial to the collective. Tell me who exactly benefits from forcing people into service. It's certainly not the whole society as a collective, nor the conscripts. The real collective strength comes from a society that respects individual rights, not the one that enslaves its citizens under the illusion of patriotism. The idea that military service builds character is just a lazy excuse for forced labor. Character is built by personal growth, challenges people choose to take on, and the freedom to develop as individuals. Not by being coerced into an outdated system under threat of punishment. If military service were truly about self-improvement, it would be voluntary, and people would willingly sign up. The fact that this has to be forced on people proves that it's not about character at all, it's about control. So at the end of the video, I would like to say that conscription is, by definition, a form of forced labor. No matter how its defenders try to sugarcoat it, it remains an obligation enforced by the threat of punishment, removing individual choice, a practice that modern democracies should have abolished long ago. The stupid idea that conscription is justified because the majority voted for it is deeply stupid. Fundamental human rights are not subject to majority. A democracy does not have the right to strip individuals of their freedom and force them into servitude just because a percentage of the population approves of it. That logic has historically been used to justify all sorts of oppression, from segregation to discrimination. The defenders of conscription are some of the most stupid and intellectually lazy people. They parrot the same tired nonsense about democracy and history without realizing how utterly ridiculous they sound. Let's break it down. First, calling conscription anything other than forced labor is peak stupidity. If the state forces you to work under threat of punishment, that is, by definition, involuntary servitude. The fact that so many people cannot understand this is literally embarrassing. The idea that the fact that majority voted for it makes it ethical is also absolutely stupid. Basic human rights are not up for a vote. If the majority voted to enslave a minority, would that suddenly make slavery acceptable? You would have to be an absolute fool to think that democracy justifies oppression. This whole system is a relic of an authoritarian thinking. And the people who defend it are either too mind-controlled to recognize their own servitude or too weak to admit that they were coerced. and want others to suffer the same fate. Either way, it's absolutely pathetic.